All right, another day of computer science. Today we learned about reading files and writing files. So reading files, you got the open function, you've got opening with modes, R, R+, A+, W, W+. You've got concept of input files and output files. So reading is associated generally with input files. Writing and appending is generally associated with output files. You can have files that are both input and output files, though. You get the file close. You've got a file handle, which is the variable you assign the file object to. You've got read, f.read, which will read the entire file as a string. You've got read lines, which will return a list where each line is a string. An element. Each element of the list is a string, which is a line from the text file. And you've got read line, which reads each line as a string one at a time. And then you've got writing, which will overwrite and create a new file if it doesn't exist, whereas read will throw an error. Write can only take in string arguments. It will throw an error, type error, if you get any other object you try to write. And when you write, write will never automatically basically put a new line like a print will. You have to manually add new lines for print. So, no, for write. You have to manually add new lines for write. And then, yeah, I feel like there's one other note that I had for reading, but I can't remember now. Here we go. Using loops to process, using for loops for processing read, which will, I think if you use a for loop on a file object, it automatically does read line. I'm not exactly sure. We didn't touch on that. That was just in the note on the screen. For loops to read. File handle's good. Input output files, okay. Yeah, alright, we're good. So that's it for right now. I'll talk to you later today. See you. I ran out of time again today, but I need to recall what we learned yesterday. What did we do in computer science yesterday? CSV files, comma separated values files. These are like spreadsheets, except they don't have explicit columns and rows. They basically have columns and rows, but they're not. They're created by new lines and commas. And the data that it stores between commas are known as fields. Did we get into much more than that? I don't know. Surely. No, we probably only did one session. I don't know, we're gonna have to look. Oh my gosh. Did we do the with statement all yesterday? I don't know if we did the with statement all yesterday, but let's do it anyway. The with statement is a statement basically you use with the open statement. So you say with, and then the open function. And then I think you say as, and then the file name, and then colon, and then a code block. Basically what it does is opens the file and automatically closes it once the code block has been executed. I think that's the big idea, because it's important to close the file, because if you don't close the file, you may not be able to open or write to that file from another program until you've done so. You've closed it in that file. So it's always best practice to use the with statement in most cases so that you automatically close and don't forget to do so. It creates a task manager? No. It creates a resource manager. In this case, the resource is a file, and resource files or resource managers basically manage a resource by doing setup and automatic closure of that resource. Something along those lines. With statement can be used with open to execute statements and then automatically close the file. Creates a context manager, not a resource manager. Context manager. Manage use of a resource by performing setup and teardown operations. With open as file name, code block. Okay, not closing files can cause problems later. Example, a file that was opened in write mode can't be written to by another program until closed. Best practice is to open files with statements so you don't forget to close that file. That's pretty good recall for that one. Now CSV, comma separated values files. They are text-based files that store data separated by commas, so text-based. Okay, the data items are known as fields, good. Essentially a spreadsheet without explicit columns and rows, good. CSV module, right, so read, maybe even write and write to a CSV file. You're gonna have to use the built-in module, the built-in CSV module in the Python standard library. Then you have to do like CSV dot write, CSV dot something, dot read. So in Python, okay, used to help read and write files in CSV format. Yeah, to read a file using the CSV module, you must first create a reader object. So how do you create a reader object? In order to read a CSV file, you need to create a CSV or a reader object, and you can create a reader object through the CSV module, which is a lot of stuff, but CSV dot reader, and the argument is the file name. Okay, good. It's iterable. Returns a list of strings for each row when iterated over. Okay, so each field is a string within a list, and one list per row. All right. Okay, so that was yesterday. I'll be back tomorrow to probably finish the final lecture. And, yeah, we already finished the programs like this weekend that are going to be due tomorrow. So that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. See you.